Let's start out with the lottery problem. This is problem 10-78 and 10-79. It states, imagine winning the lottery. The jackpot is worth $50 million. You can receive your money in two ways, and you need to determine which is better. Okay, this is real life. I know a lot of you probably haven't played the lottery yet. You're too young, but when you do, usually if you win the jackpot, you get two options. You get what they call the cash option, where you just get one lump sum of money from the lottery commission, or you can have your jackpot spread out, usually over 20 years, and they'll pay you a little bit each year. So we're going to explore those two different options here today. So the first option, which I referred to just now as the cash option, says you can receive a single payment of 51% of the jackpot right away. That means that's all the money that they're going to pay you. Okay, it seems kind of shady, right? Like, I mean, you won $50 million and they're going to give you about half of it, but that's what happens when you got to pay taxes and fees and all that kind of stuff. So for the context of this situation, I know most of us would probably go out and, love to have $25 million there, or, whatever that's going to end up being there, and then we'd probably go spend it. But for this situation, you're going to take that money and you're going to invest it at 4% interest into some sort of investment account. Okay? For our second option, which we refer to as the cash option, this is the payment over time option. Okay, so with this one here, it says that you're going to receive payments of the jackpot once a year for 20 years. So they're taking your jackpot and they're breaking it into 20 pieces. Okay, and you'll get one piece of it every year for the next 20 years. Okay, so your first payment will only be $1.5 million, but each payment after that will increase by 5%. Okay, so each year you're going to get a little bit more than you did the year before. So before we jump into actually kind of calculating how much money we're going to be getting overall, let's think about the different ways these are growing. So for your option one here, where you get that 51% of the jackpot, they're giving you all the money you're going to have right away. Okay, so this is, say, like this is your jackpot you received, and you're going to take that, and when you invest it into your investment account at like 4% interest there, right? That means each year it's going to grow a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's just visualize here. After the first year, it's grown to the size of the red circle here, right? It's 4% bigger. And then the next year, that amount will grow by 4% and get a little bit bigger, right? This is still all of your money that you have. It's going to grow for, however many years we choose to have it grow, but it's just growing very slowly, but this is all the money you have. Okay, so the difference between that and in our second option, we're going to get 20 payments. Okay, they're not giving us as much money. So let's say our jackpot here was still $50 million, but they're giving us that $1.5 million first. So we'll say here, this is the amount of money they're giving us with our first payment. Now, our second payment here that they give us is going to be 5% bigger than the first one. So we'll take it there, right? And it grew just a little bit. And then our third payment that they give us here will be a little bit bigger than the last one. So they've taken our jackpot winnings here and they've spread it out, right? They've spread it out here over 20 years. So our biggest one would probably be, the 20th one. But the amount of money we have, we would find by taking all these payments, and we would add them all together. Okay, so hopefully that kind of helps you to understand how the different things are growing. This one, we just have one set of money here that's just growing slowly. This one here, we're taking a bunch of little smaller pieces and we're going to be adding them all together to come up with our entire jackpot winning. So let's start with our option one. This is 10-78, and let's kind of calculate how much money we'd end up with. So 10-78, how much would you receive in one lump sum if you get 51% of the jackpot? Okay, so our jackpot we know here was $50 million. right? And we need 51%. We know 50% would be just 25 million, that's half of it, but if we're gonna find 51%, let's multiply it by 51% in its decimal form. And you can do it on the calculator if you need to there. The answer should end up being $25,500,000. That is all the money that you're going to receive from the lottery commission for winning the lottery. Okay, not bad. I'd take it. Okay, so $25,500,000. Imagine all the things you could do with that. However, we're not going to do anything with it in this problem. We're going to take it and we're going to invest all of that money. So let's look here at not option B, but part B. If all of the money is invested into an account that earns 4% interest each year, how much money would be in the account at the end of the 20th year? So we're saying here, if we put it into the account for 20 years at 4% interest each year, how much money are we going to have? Okay, so let's take this now. Remember, they're going to give us 20 payments. And this one kind of, would be represented well by a geometric sequence. Okay, not a series, because we're not adding all of the money together every year because our money is just growing, right? It's growing by a percentage. So since it's growing by a percentage, we know it's geometric. So let's create an equation for the nth term, right? We know that we could have a sub n should equal our first payment, which we said was going to be $25,500,000. That's our only payment from the lottery commission. But then we'll get interest payments on top of that, right? So our multiplier here, if it's growing by 4%, remember, 100%, our multiplier would be 1. So if this is growing by 4%, right, we're going to have to add to that 1, 0.04, and that gives us 104%, which is 1.04. So we're going to multiply this by 1.04, and we'll raise it to, since this is our first, our first payment there, right? It's like our first term. We're going to make this n minus 1. So I want to know here, at the end of my 20th year, how much money would be in the account? Well, let's take it here and let's plug in 20 so we can find that value. We'll take it, we'll say 25,500,000 times 1.04 raised to the power of 20 minus 1. Okay, and let's see what our answer would end up being. This is where you probably, maybe want to have the calculator out. We'll say 25,500,000 times 1.04 raised to the power of 20 minus 1, which we know is 19. And it looks like we get $53,724,653.99. Okay, so by taking that money and investing it, right, it looks like we're going to end up with more money than what we would have gotten from the jackpot, right? So 53 million is more than that 50 million if you're willing to not touch it for 20 years. All right, so that is what we get in total if we choose option number 1. We'll go into the next video here and you can look at option number 2.